for joining us once again for another episode of Develop, Integrate, and Sustain TV. Keeping it simple, let's jump right into the topic today. My name is Jeff.L.Lush, and we're going to talk today about how to build a successful enterprise environment. This example is from the Department of Veterans Affairs. So let's talk about how the Department of Veterans Affairs goes about collecting information, using open standards, and coming out with successful implementations of technology. And the key here is you have to have involvement from the entire industry. You cannot expect to develop a solution, an enterprise solution, in a bubble. You have to be able to incorporate advice from vendors that do this every day. So let's take a look at these four primary steps that are used, and they might be helpful for anybody that is developing an enterprise infrastructure. Certainly these vendors here do not imply an endorsement or preference. They're just used for illustration purposes. But the first step in developing an enterprise architecture is collect information from the industry. Market research. This can be done through asking vendors to supply information in market research, going out to the internet and doing research, talking to people, whatever you need to do to collect market research. Collect market research. You want to make sure that whatever enterprise solution you're developing is in alignment with what industry can produce. You don't want to develop something that's pie in the sky and nobody understands how to use it. Okay, so the second step is here, we follow it along here, is some sort of governance program. And the establishment of standards. So without standards, it's very difficult to build any solution that is that can be validated and be delivered consistently. So we need to have standards, and the development of standards allows us to build consistent solutions. Based on our market research, we can take our market research and say, great, these are the things we need. What's the solution look like? Great, solution looks like X. Now let's apply some sort of standards to that. Standards that we keep so we maintain consistency in our environment. And coupled with the standards, we must have a technical analysis review process or some form of governance to make sure that all the solutions are in compliance to those standards and in compliance to that market research. So there always has to be some form of governance along the way. The next step is to reach back out to the industry and validate the market research. Make sure that what you've put together in an RFI perhaps, make sure that whatever you've put together for your solution matches up with the standards that your organization is supporting, as well as matches up with the market research that you did. So go back out to the industry in some sort of open comment format and allow them to go ahead and comment on that. And then the final step is a successful, fair, and open competitive acquisition. Not open standards in the sense that we just want anything that's willy-nilly off of the shelf out of somebody's garage, although we may have the need for that. That's not what I'm talking about open standards. I'm talking about fair and open standards, meaning that if a server, you don't specify that it should be ABC company's server, for example, but you specify that the server should be able to process 1,000 transactions per minute, or whatever your standard is. Again, back to the development of the standard and the governance to monitor those standards. Now we have an open and fair competition area. When we allow ourselves in our environment to align to market research, we do our market research, we develop our standards, implement some form of governance, revalidate what we've done here in the first two steps back with industry again, and then we go out to market to do acquisition. Now, although there seem to be several steps in here, we're almost guaranteed to have a successful implementation that's built on standards, not on vendor choice, but built on standards. You will save your organization 30 to 40% of IT initial expenditure if you use this format and this type of methodology to flush out what good technology is, marry it up with your business need, and be successful. Thanks again for joining me today. My name is Jeff.Lush. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me.